Poll came out earlier this week showing that a growing number of Republicans are not necessarily interested in Donald Trump being the standard bearer for the party in 2024. Lots of them apparently are interested in DeSantis. He has less than 50% support at this point, and he did not like that, judging by the statement he put out that says the failing New York Times, which commissioned the poll, is down 40% year to date because they're fake news. Their reporters are dishonest and their front page has become a work of total fiction, not news. They hate our capital C country and they hate reporting the truth, which is why America is not respected and our nation has never been weaker. Instead, they obsess over January 6th, just like they did over impeachment hoax 1, impeachment hoax 2, the Mueller Witch Report, and Russia. The New York Times will continue to decline because people no longer believe their reporting is even close to being true. Fake polls, phony stories, made up quotes, truly the enemy of the people. It's a poll, buddy. Like, to go talk to your people. It's not, they were talking to Republicans. They asked Republicans what they thought, and a lot of them are apparently interested in Ron DeSantis. Look, I get it, I agree with you. That doesn't reflect well on those voters, but the alternative is them liking you, so they were really put in a difficult position there. So anyway, Anna, he probably will still be the nominee. He still had like 49% choosing him as their first choice, but he doesn't like that there are other Republicans who are growing popular, and the endless whining about it just makes him look like such a baby.
The only thing I really have to add to this is, all of us need dessert to get through the day, right? Like there's like my day, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, is full of vegetables, right? A lot of reading, a lot of diving into policy, understanding how things work. This story is my dessert because while it does nothing to really benefit us in any way, I love watching these two fight, and it's only gonna get more and more heated as we get closer to the 2024 election process, meaning the Republican primaries, Democratic primaries, and all of that. So let them fight. I mean, look, they're both pretty terrible. And if DeSantis does in fact win the nomination, and let's say worst case scenario, he becomes the next president of the United States. The one positive, I guess, is that I don't think he has it in him to try to dismantle our democracy and just declare victory even though he lost. But he would still be pretty awful. Let's just keep it real. Like his policies mirror that of Donald Trump. And I think the difference for Republican voters increasingly is that they don't want the baggage associated with Trump.
Donald Trump might be looking at a bit of a problem inside of his own party and inside his quest to once again become the president. Because of course, first he does have to win a primary contest, and that might be a little bit more difficult than he's thinking. Now, what we're about to dive into is a New York Times Siena College poll. Now, bear in mind, they've been doing other polling, for instance, that we talked about earlier this week about how so many Democrats don't want Biden to run again. They want to go in a different direction. And that maybe from the outside makes the Democrats look bad from the point of view of Republicans, but it's kind of a similar thing going on right now. Nearly half the party's primary voters are seeking someone different for president in 2024, and a significant number are vowing to abandon him if he does win the nomination. Now, this is not apocalyptic for him, but let's dive into the numbers. You can see here, if the primary were held today, who would they rather vote for? Now, as of right now, Donald Trump still has 49% of the vote. Not a majority, but he does have the plurality. Ron DeSantis is at a solid quarter of the party, and in previous stories we've shown you, that number is rising fast. He was not nearly that high just 1 year ago. You can also see that if you break it down by gender, there's not a massive difference between the two, but it very interestingly, when you break down these Republican voters talking about who they want in the primary along educational lines, there's a huge difference. When you just look at people without a bachelor's degree, Donald Trump's got 58% to Ron DeSantis is 21%. But when you talk about college graduates or higher, Ron DeSantis actually has more support than Donald Trump.
Get out of politics if you don't understand why Ron DeSantis is more popular with college-educated Republicans. Get out.
Why? But why?
Because they got money and they're like, that's all I want. That's the Republican I'm used to. That's the one who knows exactly how to message to the D-bag morons, but still will cater to me.
Period. Yeah, but hold on. Let me challenge you there. Because he is catering to, as you say, the D-bag morons. So then why aren't they better catered to? If someone's been passing around a silver dish that's got like transphobia and CRT and stuff like that, then why aren't they gorging on it? Or do you think that that's just a process that we're in the middle phases of?
What are you talking about?
Why aren't those without a bachelor's degree more enthusiastic about him, considering that he is very much trying to appeal to those people with the culture war stuff that he's been focusing on for more than a year now?
What would you rather have, John? Coca-Cola Classic or New Coke? You want Coca-Cola Classic. Trump is the real thing. He is the one who got them to the dance. He's the one that if you are the dumbest human, you think's like genuinely awesome. But if you are a classic Republican, someone who knows that it's all just signaling free nothingness to religious and hateful fundamentalist zealots, Ron DeSantis turns around and behind the scenes is like, all right, here's how we're gonna run a state. He's like an executive who runs a state that they love because there's no personal income tax. Yeah. And that the rich people wanna be done with this already. They're praying to their God, which is money, and hoping the people that pray to Jesus God, and while giving money to people like them, will finally come over to DeSantis because they know DeSantis is closer to that thing they're familiar with. The person who's like, okay, yeah, I too think that they're too woke or whatever I'm supposed to say at this time. The guy who did a whole ad being like, I love Donald Trump too. And every step of the way has been systematically positioning himself intelligently to be the next step that's more palatable to the donor class of rich schmucks on the coast who pretend that they hate living in the states they'll never leave.